In this video, we explore the remarkable power of salt as a weapon in spiritual warfare. Though a simple and familiar mineral in our daily lives, salt carries deep and sacred meanings, especially in religious and spiritual contexts. Throughout history, salt has played a vital role, not just in cuisine but in religious rituals, sacred covenants, and spiritual warfare. We'll break down its pure and correct use so that everyone can understand. Have you ever wondered why Jesus called his disciples the salt of the earth? Stay with us until the end, where we'll reveal the profound significance of salt in the Bible, from purification and preservation to its use as a spiritual weapon and a symbol of loyalty. You'll be amazed by the revelations that unfold. More than just a seasoning, salt has long been a vital mineral with deep historical roots. In ancient civilizations, salt was more than just a food ingredient. It was a valuable commodity. The Romans, for instance, paid their soldiers with salt, coining the term salarium, which evolved into salary in English, highlighting its material and cultural significance. In societies like Egypt, Greece, and Rome, salt symbolized purity and preservation. The Egyptians used it in mummification to prepare bodies for eternal life, while the Greeks and Romans employed salt in rituals to cleanse and ward off evil spirits. Salt also held a special place in sacred ceremonies. In Arab culture, the salt covenant symbolized unbreakable loyalty, reflecting salt's role as a symbol of trust and commitment. In the Bible, salt is mentioned frequently, from purifying sacrifices in Leviticus to symbolizing God's enduring nature. The story of Elisha in 2 Kings 2:19-22 further illustrates salt's sacred role. When Jericho's water was polluted, Elisha used salt to purify it, showcasing God's power to bring life and purity through this simple mineral. Salt, in these contexts, was not just a substance but a divine tool, ensuring offerings and spaces remained pure and protected. In this context, salt is far more than just a mineral. It serves as a conduit for miracles and divine intervention. God used salt to demonstrate his power, bringing healing and purification, reminding believers of the importance of maintaining purity in every aspect of life, both spiritual and physical. Salt also symbolizes the eternal covenant between God and his people, representing permanence, loyalty, and eternity. For instance, in Numbers 18:19, God declares to Aaron and his descendants, "All the holy contributions that the people of Israel present to the Lord, I give to you and your sons and daughters, with you as a perpetual due. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord for you and your offspring, with you." This covenant of salt signifies an unbreakable bond, mirroring salt's enduring nature, which never loses its flavor. In Jewish culture, the salt covenant is seen as an unshakable commitment, underscoring the importance of loyalty and steadfastness in promises made to God. When God established a covenant with the Israelites using salt, he was not merely forming a physical agreement, but creating a profound, unbreakable spiritual relationship. A notable example of this is found in 2 Samuel 3:12, 2-13, where Abner, the commander of Saul's army, sought to make a peace covenant with David. David agreed, but insisted that the covenant be sealed with salt, symbolizing eternal loyalty and commitment. Throughout history and across cultures, salt has been integral in rituals and covenants, such as the ancient Arab custom where two people would eat salt together to signify loyalty and trust. Breaking such a covenant would have serious consequences, highlighting salt's role not just as a preservative, but as a symbol of sacred commitment. The salt covenant in the Old Testament exemplifies God's eternal and loyal commitment to his people, emphasizing the profound relationship between God and humanity, as well as the importance of loyalty in the Christian faith. Moreover, salt plays a vital role in spiritual warfare as a weapon of purification and protection. The Bible reminds us that our battles are not merely physical, but against powerful spiritual forces. In these battles, salt has been used since ancient times as a potent tool of spiritual warfare, cleansing and protecting believers from evil. Its significance in both spiritual and physical realms underscores its enduring importance in faith and practice. Salt has long been believed to possess the power to ward off evil spirits and protect individuals from curses. One compelling story from South America illustrates this belief. A family plagued by misfortune and spiritual attacks sought advice from a friend who suggested using consecrated salt. They began sprinkling the salt around their home while praying for divine protection. Within weeks, their circumstances improved significantly, showing that when used with faith and reverence, salt can bring both protection and blessings. The use of salt in rituals for purification and protection is an ancient practice that remains vital in modern spiritual life. Many people continue to find peace and safety by incorporating salt into their prayers and purification rituals. Sprinkling salt around the home, on doorways, windows, or even on the body is not merely a physical act but also a powerful symbol of spiritual purification. This practice reminds believers that the true power of salt comes not from the mineral itself, but from God's divine intervention. Salt's significance extends beyond Christian traditions, playing a crucial role in many other cultures as well. In Hinduism, salt is integral to various sacred rituals, including the cleansing of worship spaces and the purification of statues before they are used in ceremonies. In Buddhism, salt is valued as a purifying element, often used in religious rituals to ward off evil spirits and protect monks from dark forces. Japanese culture also holds salt in high regard, especially in Shinto practices, where it is used to purify Shinto shrines. It is common for Japanese people to sprinkle salt before their homes and shops to drive away evil spirits and invite good fortune, reflecting a broader belief in salt's ability to purify and protect in both religious and everyday contexts. Another story of salt's protective power comes from a Christian community in Africa. Here, the belief in dark forces manifesting through curses and magical acts is widespread. A businessman struggling with persistent misfortune in his work was advised to use consecrated salt. After sprinkling the salt around his business and praying for protection, his fortunes changed. His business began to thrive, demonstrating that when used correctly, salt can indeed bring blessings and protection. However, the power of salt is not solely positive. It can also bring destruction when misused or employed in disobedience. A famous biblical example is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where Lot's wife, upon disobeying God's command, was turned into a pillar of salt when she looked back at the city being destroyed. This serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that salt, while possessing purifying and preservative qualities, can also be a tool of punishment. In Deuteronomy 29:23, God warns that a cursed land will become brimstone and salt, a burning waste, unsown and unproductive, where no grass grows. Here, salt is associated with destruction, symbolizing its potential to become a force of devastation when linked to sin and disobedience. In medieval European culture, salt was sprinkled on cursed lands to prevent any life from growing there, a symbolic act to ensure that the land remained barren and forever cursed. Similarly, in Jewish tradition, salt was sometimes used to annihilate the enemies of God. In summary, salt is a powerful symbol and tool in both ancient and modern spiritual practices. While it can bring blessings, purification, and protection, it also carries the potential for destruction when misused, underscoring the importance of using it with reverence and respect for its spiritual significance. In conclusion, the role of salt in the Bible is deeply symbolic and richly layered, offering profound insights into the spiritual life of believers. From the earliest accounts in Genesis to the teachings of Jesus in the New Testament, salt is consistently portrayed as a symbol of covenant, purification, and faith. Its use in both the physical and spiritual realms underscores the importance of maintaining purity, loyalty, and commitment in our walk with God. The story of King Amaziah sprinkling salt over the defeated city of Edom serves as a powerful reminder of salt's capacity to represent both destruction and sanctification. While this act was one of obliteration, ensuring that no life would spring forth from the ruins, it also reminds us of the finality and seriousness of God's judgment. However, for Christians, salt is more often viewed through the lens of preservation and purification. It symbolizes the enduring nature of our covenant with God, a relationship that is meant to be eternal, steadfast, and unbreakable. Jesus' declaration that his disciples are the salt of the earth extends this symbolism to the spiritual responsibilities of his followers. Just as salt preserves and purifies, Christians are called to preserve the teachings of Christ and to live lives that reflect his purity. Losing our saltiness equates to losing our effectiveness and purpose in God's kingdom. This loss of spiritual vigor is akin to abandoning our role as witnesses to God's truth and love, rendering us as ineffective as salt that has lost its flavor. The Bible's frequent references to salt also highlight the seriousness of our commitments to God. The Salt Covenant, exemplified in God's promises to the Israelites, illustrates the unbreakable bond between God and his people, a bond that demands loyalty and faithfulness. This covenant is a reminder that our relationship with God is not one of convenience, but of enduring commitment, much like the preserving and lasting qualities of salt. In our spiritual journey, we are reminded that the power of salt is not in its physical properties alone, but in what it represents: God's presence, his covenant, and his call to holiness. As believers, we are to embody the qualities of salt, preserving the purity of our faith, purifying our hearts and actions, and remaining loyal to the covenant we have with our Creator. In doing so, we ensure that our lives are a testament to God's enduring grace and truth, preserving not only ourselves but also the faith of those around us.